What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a great day. I hope. Because, your boy here, yes, the lower third is true. I am cutting weight. So, y'all in the comment section today, just proceed with caution. That is the big thing that I am trying to tell you. Here's the good news. If I weigh in right now, I would make weight. The real key is not losing weight. It's not being, oh no, I'm fat. It's the don't fall into temptation island sort of a deal is what's happening here. So, coffee was a good choice. I like coffee. I have a little bit of water that I can sip for the last of the day. I think I got half my water left. So, a great time to do comedy. Nonetheless, very excited you're here and very excited to talk to my longtime friend, one Timothy J. Freeman. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
What is going on, Raf? I am batting down the hatches here for Snowpocalypse, which is apparently on its way to Nashville. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm not too worried. If Costco's closed for a day, nobody's going to die. You know what I mean? We find out Costco's going to be closed for a day and people literally, there was another run on toilet paper. But it's good to be here, man. Yeah. Cutting weight is a real not fun thing, man. And it's amazing how when you do cut weight, you could look at something that you would scoff at, you would never eat. You could look at a saltine cracker and your mouth will water for it. You will literally water for that saltine cracker. So I hope you make it through the show, man. I really do. I'll do my best not to provoke you. The comment section, I can't vouch for. I can't make promises. You never know who's going to show up in the slums. So
I don't think you're going to provoke me, but now all I'm thinking about is a cracker. And to be honest, I've unhacked a new hack, Tim, and I want you to give me your thoughts on it, honestly. Here's my hack. Are you aware of what Gemini is?
Google Gemini, is that what we're talking about?
Google Gemini, yes.
Yes, sir.
I have enlisted it to help me with the weight cut. Do you want to know what that feels like?
I don't know. It could be strangely motivated, because, they're a little nice to you. They're like, don't worry, man, you got this. Now's not the time to quit. And then it'll tell you something to do. But tell me, how does it make you feel that Gemini is your new weight loss consultant, weight cutting consultant?
So here's what it was. I don't know why. This is how you can tell you get into delirium when you're in the week of a weight cut. And it's really not a super big weight cut. But I hit up Gemini and I go, hey, I need to hit this weight. What should I be doing? It's like, no problem. You're starting a little fat, but we're going to work it down. I was like, thanks, Gemini. To the point where now that I'm essentially there, I'm asking Gemini, can I have this rice cracker? And he goes, ugh. That rice cake is a choice, but you are a little ahead, but don't get too about it. And I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. And this is a true story. I was revamping part of what I write on, say, my LinkedIn or something. And I said, hey, Gemini, can you relook at this? I don't know if I like the way this is phrased. It's kind of late. And Gemini's like, hey, this looks pretty good, but you need to go to bed. You're in the middle of a weight cut, and tell me what your weight is tomorrow. You're doing great. And I go, Gemini literally is yelling at me that I'm not getting enough sleep. And I go, well, get in line there, Gemini. But I have to tell you, a very pleasant experience when you are weight cutting. And I don't try to waste water with AI if I don't have to. But this is one of the exception times that I was like, you know what? Tell me what I need to do. But it is very funny when I started thinking hey, Gemini, can I have salmon? And it's like, tilapia would be better. So even it had its feelings with me. Before we get to the show, there are a few things that we wanted to chat about with the group here that we do have and people as they will trickle in. But you brought up something to me that I thought was fascinating. Can you tell me what exactly is happening in this video that we need to talk about, Tim?
This, oh man, it's beautiful. This is Craig Jones. He posted a clip on his Instagram. Apparently, he was sparring with Mauricio Ruffy, and Ruffy hits a beautiful flying scissors takedown, and he sets it up off of a left jab. He stance switches, and he kind of fakes like he's going to go for maybe a front kick the way he slides in, and then he takes the scissor takedown. It's beautiful. Got the tap too. Nice.
So,
and Craig posted it. Props to Craig. He don't care.
he did, but it also had the speed in which you say, hey, can you record this? I'm going to hit this on Craig. Here's the thing that I want Train Agri to take away. I don't know if Train's always watching us, but Train Agri put up something that said Craig is now training MMA. And I'm looking at this footage, and I don't know if we have enough evidence to say he is. Now, Train Angry's in all of the DMs. He might know more than we do in this particular case. But this to me isn't training MMA. This to me is like, hey, Craig put on some gloves and is just like, hey, mate, you won't hit me. Okay. And then starts doing that, which I don't know. Why do you think Craig would have a reason to start training MMA?
Bro, listen. If Craig's training MMA, it looks like Mark Zuckerberg's his trainer.
It's fair. That is fair.
Right here,
but
right
anyway,
here. That's a Zuck right there, dude. That's a total Zuck move.
Can I just say this, though? The thing that makes me laugh about this particular clip is watch the way that Craig does fall. Because as he falls, watch it in fast motion. Whoa. I love the fact that he gives it like a little extra zhuzh right here. Because watch, he's going to go, and then he's going to fall aggressively to the other side. So,
yeah.
Craig is, a future in pro wrestling could be there because that's what we call the sell. So, Tim, this is what you brought to my attention. I wanted to bring something to your attention. And I wasn't sure if you had time to see this. And I don't know if I'm just being woke about this, but let's start with the obvious, which is the appearance. This is currently how Mikey Musumeci looks. Initial thoughts from this.
I mean, I'm not. He looks like an old friend that I used to have, actually. I'm not a super fan of the beard with no mustache unless you're actually from Kazakhstan or something like if you're just Musumeci, you gotta have hair under your lip if you're gonna have the you're gonna have the whole chin strap. It doesn't look good. This looks like Dirtbag Mikey, to be honest, like Mikey's cousin or something. Not a great look.
So my initial thought was, because again, look, my facial hair connects. With this particular look, and I don't want to make it all about looks because I have a larger thing I want to talk about here. It looks like somebody is trying to hang on to a cliff, but they lost their footing. That's what it looks like the beard is trying to do. Like it's trying to come up here and grab on, but it has nothing to grip up there. So it's just hanging and falling down. Tim, the reason I bring this up is
washing off.
Yes, 100%. It's a white marker that went on there. You brought up the idea of a foreignness to it. So he is embodying the memes as he does, because this meme, this send to Dagestan for 2 years and forget, he is now embodying this meme. So I have two questions for you here. With that in mind, one, what do you think the next meme Mikey will incorporate into his personality and make his personality? And two, do you feel like this could be offensive? And we'll get into the reason why in a second, but I'll start with the first. What is the next meme you think is going to become the personality of Mikey Musumeci?
Listen, he's already gone multiple levels deep on the don't go there meme scale. So it might sound like a stretch. It's not a stretch. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mikey in a bear suit wrestling Khabib. He's just going to impersonate the actual bear that Khabib wrestled when he was 8 years old. They'll leash him up. They'll have Khamzat pulling on the chain, and Musumeci will be rolling for legs, and Khabib will be smashing him. And in terms of being offensive, I mean, listen, man, brother, everything's offensive to everybody nowadays. I don't think he's trying to be offensive, but he is offensive, not for the reason you think. He's offensive because it's not really that good of a meme. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the beard is offensive. The low quality subpar beard is what's really color it in. Get that spray on shit or something, man.
So here's what I'm gonna do, because I think there's a way to play it off my phone, but I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just gonna play you the audio of this, okay? And have you react. And just tell me if you perk up at any part of this accent, okay?
This matchup, smash. Smash. I have the beard now. I'm growing a beard. I'm from Dagestan now. So, new Mikey, Dagestani Mikey. Brother, smash.
No mustache. Smash. Just beard.
Just beard.
I like that.
Get rid of these butt scooters. They're a disgrace to this sport, you know. And Shay's a butt scooter, so I gotta smash him.
Oh, I love it. You used to be a butt scooter, though, no?
That was so 2025.
Oh, okay.
This is 2026.
That's enough. Okay. Where do you fall on this?
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but that's just because the cringe factor is so high all the time.
Dude, the fact...
normally I like cringe, but this guy's worse than Tim Robinson. He's freaking cringe, dude. Like, it's bad, man.
I want to point this out, and you're not 100% off here, Fujigatami. Why does Mikey look like he sang for Metallica in the late 1990s? Fair. Fair assessment here. I dub the Unforgiven. But I see this, and the thing, as a person who does, impressions, it almost sounded like your inappropriate friend doing an Indian accent at one point when he said Dagestan. And I was like, I think the wires are just crossed. I don't hear the impression the right way. So at that point, I think it falls into your world of, yeah, it's pretty cringe. And I have to tell you, that was the moment that triggered me and said, I'm good. But he's re-signed with the UFC, and they have a lot of matches that they have announced. We're going to take some time to digest them. I don't really want to talk about those today. We have a full board to get to, so we're going to transition back to that, and we will make our way through. But that's our nice little preview for you guys. First and foremost, though, kind of a rough day all around for weight cutting. We're going to start with what we put on the board, but obviously things changed earlier today. Helena Cravar did miss weight, and fairly significantly, for her UFC 1 debut. Tim, what can you tell us about this?
Helena Cravar didn't just, like, there's missing weight. Like, missing weight, you come in like 2 pounds over, 3 pounds. Anything over 2 or 3 pounds, you're getting into like the territory where you will be accused of disrespect or unprofessionalism. Cravar missed weight by 16 pounds. Now, my question is this. At what point did she know she wasn't going to make weight? And did she ever try to make weight at all? Because when you're 16 pounds over, that to me is like, it's finals time and you decided to study the morning of finals. You're not going to make it. 16 pounds is way over the limit. And this is pure speculation, but I wonder this. I wonder if there was a clause in the contract for the fight that said if she didn't make weight, the fight could be moved to an open weight. I wonder if that happened. I don't know. Nobody said anything. Her opponent, I believe her name is Tesha Noelani Allo. She accepted the fight. She came in fit, on weight, ready to fight. She's got a great wrestling pedigree. She's tough. I actually don't think this is going to be an easy match for Cravar. Maybe that's why she came in over the weight limit. Maybe she knew she wasn't going to make weight, or maybe it was planned, but it's 16 pounds is a lot, man. That's ridiculous. She should have to give up some part of her purse for coming in that freaking heavy. That's diabolical. This smacks of Danaher. That's what I'm going to say. This is a Danaher power move.
Oh, maybe we differ on this part, and I'll explain why in a second. But, okay. As a person currently cutting weight, this is kind of a tough one to digest. Today was not a good day to wake up and see people not hitting weight. There was a lot of nervousness, but I will tell you, it has both made me happy about some of the choices I've made, and also when you get to the other one, which we'll get to in a second, it makes you really think about the process that we cut weight altogether. Let's start with Helena. You're right, Tim. Did she board the plane knowing that she wasn't going to make weight? Because if so, that's a pretty good vacation. Like, I'm not going to make weight. Well, this is going to be a scenic trip. 2, if you're the opponent, that's a pretty marquee value name that you would be rejecting. You made weight. You probably want the match. And if you beat her, there is a lot of upside for that, especially in that organization. I do think it is slightly problematic in that 1FC really does try to market itself as one of these big showtime places for grapplers. And for Helena, she's very young. She has an incredible career. She's made weight at plenty of other things. I think you can give her a little bit of some benefit of the doubt in terms of how many times she has accurately come in for other big organizations. But if you're 1FC, I don't know what you do. I feel like you have to reprimand them in some way. Now, Tim, you were close to the right idea, but can I argue there's one thing that you could do maybe better than just give away purse?
Yes, I would love to hear this.
She has to coach without Danaher. That means she has to compete without Danaher. So that means she has to go now. They basically put Danaher into a Shark Tank that they elevate above the cage, and he just has to hold on to the cage like this, looking around like, Helena, do this, and he can't be heard because he's too high. And the whole time she has to do her grappling. That's how we'll truly see, like, take out Miyagi from the Karate Kid. Does Ralph Macchio win? Does Danielson do the crane kick? Does he remember the crane kick? Does he remember his 6-week training crash course? Who knows? But in this particular case, I thought that. And I'm going to come back for one more thing on Helena. Okay. Obviously dumb. We're joking. It is very, very sad to see that, that's not the way it should go down. Let's go to Danaher again for a split second. As we're looking for topics this week, it's kind of a slow news week in case you can't tell. There was a moment that Danaher was like, well, I don't really give my guys a big pep talk or hype them up before a match. Because what is it going to change? And I want to be like, hey, man, you can maybe hype them up to make weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe that's not on you, but it's an unfortunate timing on that article coming out, or at least getting some notoriety this week. The same week, one of your most prominent athletes is 17 pounds over. A few pounds we understand. 17 is, in our world, it sounds like you didn't try. And listen, I say this with the risk of going on a scale tomorrow and being like, uh-oh, yikes. I know that, so I'm trying to be very careful about it. But I think, Tim, we both have to come on the screen to talk about this UFC weight cut. So there was a gentleman who...
this is disaster, man.
Basically was on the scale, made it on the scale, didn't quite make weight. And to make matters worse, you had Michael Bisping saying, it's a shame. This guy is not a professional. You have one job, which is to make weight. And then this dude passes out on his way, exiting almost being close to where the stairs are. So the little handles for the stairs. Can I just say two things and then I want to get your response? First, weight cutting is extremely difficult to cover. That's part of the reason why it's hard to say for Helena that's such a terrible thing. I think in her case, she's at least still healthy. So we're happy about that. In this gentleman's case, passing out there, of course the fight's going to get canceled. But two, what are the implications of having this, and I think two other people miss weight, on the premiere of the UFC's debut on Paramount Plus?
Yeah, it's not great, you know. Cameron Smotherman collapsed, which what a terrible last name to collapse on stage and pass out. But he did a full Ric Flair. He did it better than Ric Flair has done it, to be honest with you. Like, he face planted, and the timing, as you referred to earlier, was impeccable. And there's no way, even if they would have planned that, they would have had to rehearse it 15 times before they nailed it. Bisping literally was criticizing Cameron about, you know, you got one job and that's to make weight. It's unprofessional. And then you just hear smack. And then you hear an explicative. You hear beep come out of Bisping's mouth. And Smotherman face down. It's not, look, man, it's really not. It's not good for the sport. It's terrible for their bodies. It's one thing to cut weight for grappling or wrestling, which is already hard enough on your body. It's a whole nother thing to do it and then get in a cage and fight somebody 24 hours about after you have made this dramatic weight cut. It's really insane. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't know if they will ever get away from it. And if they do, how are they going to get away from it outside of like constantly weighing people all year round to make sure people aren't dramatically shifting their weight? I don't see any other way they're going to be able to pull this off. But for their safety, it's bananas, dude. And that fight got canceled. Yeah. So now there's no fight, which, you know, that's a disaster for the fighter, and it's in like you're saying, it's a bad look for the UFC
on their premiere weekend. Like, this is a very big weekend for them to see how they do on this brand new channel. And really, this is the start of a new streaming era for them. So them being on Paramount Plus is supposed to be a cheaper option. You don't have to pay for pay-per-views anymore. And there is some belief that, one, maybe they're not going to make as much money. Daniel Cormier saying they're for sure going to get raises. Everybody's getting raises. Everybody's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Dana White, when asked, what kind of raises are you going to get? I don't know. I don't know. Well, if you don't know, guy, who might? 3, Justin Gaethje being like, I'm not being paid a cent more. So even from an incentive standpoint, if the fighter is saying I'm not being incentivized to kill myself for this, but you have a $7.7 billion deal, there's some things that we have to look at. So that is kind of where I think we fall in terms of this fighter safety. Oddly bad timing. Not like it's the only time it's ever happening, but with a lot of eyeballs this weekend, an unfortunate moment. So we wish him well. I hope Helena is also well. I'm glad that she didn't seem super ill or sickly there, but we don't know. There might be something that we find out in the future. So that is just what we have to cover on those angles. But Tim, let's move and go to our next topic here. And this is something that I feel like you're going to have to explain a little bit better to me, because what's the deal with lockdown? Why are we punishing lockdown in our world in the year of 2026?
You know, I don't know. That's a great question. To be fair, I feel like I've seen this before. Maybe I haven't. Maybe somebody, if you know out there, you can comment and let us know if you have. Maybe somebody else did this. Maybe this is common practice in Brazil. I'm not sure. But the clip was posted online this week, and it's a Black belt instructor, not sure who it is. There were no names being named. It looked like a blue or a purple belt. And the instructor's kind of like demonstrating to the class, and they're watching him. And the student has him in lockdown. And the instructor does the old knee crunch where you stand up when somebody has you on lockdown, and you straighten your leg out, and it puts tremendous pressure on the knees. And as he did it, at first you're like, oh, he's just like kind of putting the heat on him. But, you know, he totally like just put his full force in it. The student cries out in pain. The instructor pushes down on his chest so he can't like sit forward and try to alleviate the tension. The story goes on to say that the student's knee got blown out. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but a blown out knee doesn't sound good. To me, listen, it's insane already to have moves that you're like, you're not allowed to do unless these are high risk moves. I understand why we don't have flying scissor takedowns in class all the time, or I understand why you don't want a white belt like cranking heel hooks and knee bars on people. Okay, I get all that. That makes sense to me. But to go, here's this configuration you do with your legs, and if you do that, man, dude, forget it, dude. All bets are off. I have to physically assault you if you do that move. That to me is fucking insanity, dude. Like, talk about the year 2026. That's bananas when you're literally in a sport where you're trying to strangle people, break their arms, break their legs, make their wrists bend in directions they're not supposed to go. But don't you dare get that leg laced that way. If you do that, buddy, that's crossing the line, man. That means we're locking the door and we're coming to blows. Totally bananas, dude.
I don't understand the hate for lockdown.
It makes no sense.
RAF ESPARZA, noted lockdown user. Want to point this out. It's really annoying when people already know how to break lockdown, so that's fine. But it is fairly easy if you learn a few tricks. I will tell you this, though. The fact that this instructor came up with a banned move list like that. Like, I tell my students not to do buggy chokes just so they don't hurt themselves. And when they do it, I'm like, hey, first of all, you're not even getting it on people. And two, they passed your guard. So there are smarter things to do. But I say it as an instructor that goes, this is better off for you. Do what you want. Here's the information. Do with it as you please. This is an instructor that's just like, I'm the Judge Dredd of the situation. Judge, jury, executioner, and your knee shattered. And from a practical standpoint, maybe you're not the gym owner. Okay, maybe. Seems like you might be. Do you know the repercussions you have legally? Yeah, they signed a waiver, but I feel like if it's on tape or you have witnesses, it is fairly easy to demonstrate that that might have been done maliciously. And I have to be honest with you, as annoying as our students can be, it is very rare they ever get us to a malicious moment. Having said that, Tim, what would it take for you to go that extreme to make one of your students do that and make you enforce your hand? And two, what would the move you would ban be?
Oh, listen, it's not about banned moves. For me, I draw the line if that auto pay doesn't go through each month. Auto pay doesn't go through, I'm putting you in. What am I going to put you in? What's my favorite? You know what I really like to do? I'm going to put you in a butcher and I'm just going to cook you the whole time. And I'm going to act like I'm going to let you out, then I'm not going to let you out. And then I'm going to talk to you about the importance of paying your bills on time. As a coach, I do understand how stressful it is. Maybe tuition was due. You know what I mean? And if you got that sticky auto pay, it don't matter if you get injured. I'm still taking money out of your account each month. I don't know, man. That's pretty bananas. But yeah, I got a few things. My whole like personal approach to the mats and managing that is like everybody's got to look out for each other. It's a shared burden of safety. If I'm not looking out for you and you're not looking out for me, then we can't really train intelligently because one of us is going to have to watch out for the safety of both of us. So that means one of us doesn't really get to grapple. And unfortunately, there's a lot of rooms like that. And there's a lot of people that take advantage of that exchange, and it's not kind of a shared responsibility. And you end up with situations like this. So anytime people get out of control, I've booted people out of the gym, for hurting dudes, and they go, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. I just have bad luck." It's like, okay, well, you said it. You have bad luck, so you can't be here. We can't train with bad luck, guys. So. Sorry, I don't have to tell you, man. Who's going to happen?
Bad luck is, by the way, the worst way to explain why is his arm snapped. I just don't know, just bad luck, coach.
It's always bad, man.
One of my favorite moments, not my favorite moments, that's actually the opposite. It is one of my least favorite moments. One of my students, I think I was showing them a variation of a head and arm choke with a neon belly. And I say, listen, this is not preferred, but, it can hurt. And I was showing them this, and I was trying to put a certain amount of pressure, and I'm like, who wants to experience it? And everybody raises their hand. They're like 3 people. And I start putting it on them, and one of my students points out, they're like, "Hey, coach, he's going out." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I let go, and the guy goes, "I wasn't going out." And I'm like, I'm demonstrating the move. I'm not trying to just tap you to just brag about it. And he goes, "Yeah, but I didn't tap." And I go, everybody saw your hand waver, and you're mad that I let it go. Aren't you happier that I let it go the minute somebody thought you might have been going out? And he's like, "Yeah, but I didn't tap." And I go, "Okay. Listen, dude, I'm just going to take this as a moral win. You're an idiot. Go to the back of the line. Just stop talking." And I have to tell you, the way that he was so adamant about, I didn't tap. And meanwhile, one of my students was looking at me like, "Coach, he was out." And I go, what am I supposed to do with this
idiot?
I'm just trying to tell people. And then meanwhile, to make things even worse, he gets to the back of the line. He goes, "I wasn't out." And I go, "You know what? We're done. We're done. No more talking about it. In fact, we're no longer doing jiu-jitsu. This is an accounting gym. So that's what we're going to do now." But yes,
you ruined it.
You ruined it for everybody. I gave him the Home Alone speech, and I was like, "You ruined it, you little jerk." Told him to get out. Had to go find some homeless people and beat up some other friends that were kind of rob his house, but he had prep time. All right, let's go to this. UFC BJJ, speaking about that a little bit earlier, it does look like they're going to start testing for steroids, which begs the question, and also, what does that mean for them, Tim?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. What does it mean? Because they alluded to this last year. They said, hey, coming up 2026, we are going to test for the roids. And I believe it was Andrew Tackett, right near the end of the year, was on one of the podcasts and was alluding to the same thing. However, there hasn't been a direct statement that says yo, this is what we're going to do exactly. And that's really what I want to hear. Probably what they will do is they will test the championship fights, the competitors in those fights first. And then as they get more in tune with how they want to do it, how many people get popped, they may test everybody. But I don't think they're going to be testing everybody right out of the gate. And I don't really know how this changes anything. Obviously, listen, there's guys that do jiu-jitsu. If you don't know this, I'm going to share something with you guys. There's guys that do jiu-jitsu who use steroids. So it will impact them in some way. Who? I don't know. We'll see. And it also depends on how stringent the tests really are. More powerful would be if the other promotions followed suit, because then if you have a full kind of barrier to the athletic competition scene that you have to get tested to play, then you do have a higher chance of weeding that out. Otherwise, people just jump ship, go somewhere else, and it might even work to their disadvantage, where athletes are like, I think I'll go over to this organization and compete over there. So who knows, man? I just grapple.
What a profound statement at the end. It looked like you just gave up toward the end. You're like, you know what? Do it. Smoke him if you got him.
Just do it. I don't care.
Can I pitch you an idea?
Yes.
Okay. What if, hear me out, other organizations, All right, UFC wants to be the good one, right? What if you're like ONE FC and you just go about face and you go, oh yeah? Well, they're going to be on steroids whether they like it or not. Hey, come here. Shut up. Steroids in your mouth. Done. At this point, it's a competitive advantage. I get trying to go the real way and show these athletes what they're doing. Look at the most exciting people. They're on steroids. That is the hardest part of this. Anybody who wants to be natural, like Keith Krikorian putting up an amazing post this year of all the things he's accomplished without an ounce of steroids. Although I would argue gushers are a performance-enhancing drug for him. I just feel like we're in a place where it's difficult unless, as Tim mentions, everybody does it. It's just kind of a way of life here, and it sucks. So I would love if other organizations do take these leads, but you don't see ADCC doing that. Never going to do that. Mo does the equivalent of like, can't see it, don't know. Do it. But don't do it. Oh man, I hope you do. Because it would be so bad. I mean, I really want this to be exciting. No, please don't do steroids in front of me, but give me some and where's your stack? So really is what I see from ADCC. But I would tell you this. I think the thing that you really need to invest time in is win the war on steroids argumentatively. Gordon has been leading the charge where a lot of people give him credit just by saying like, well, he admits he's on steroids. Like, what nobleness of him. Great. How wonderful that our standard has dropped from maybe people shouldn't do steroids to at least he admits it. Okay. So if OJ just admitted he did a murder, you'd just be like, good guy. He admitted he killed those people. It doesn't really mean a lot. But what it helps you to do is it helps for people to have an attachment to, well, what's so bad about it? And people put that into their normal lives and say like, well, what happens to me if I get injured? Maybe I want some version of help to repair my injuries. That's a little bit different than, dude's too big. I need to get on steroids and bane this because I can't win without it. That's a big different argument. So then you change public perception. So if you really want to get behind that, you probably have to do some warring with some of these people who have been swayed or made to feel else way about it, because that to me is the crux of the argument. Until you can win that argument, people in jiu-jitsu are going to do them because that is the way we're told. When you're in a gym, people go, well, you just got to accept that some people are going to be on steroids. Okay, good talk. So I'm doomed to just be this guy. No. Technique above all. But technique and steroids, yikes. Probably not going to beat them. So just a way of life that we have to get around. Win the war. Stay in school, kids. All right. Tim, you mentioned that this is an end of an era, and this one actually makes me very sad. This is a world-famous location that people would go to train all the time. Chris is a long-standing member of the Southern California region, so even thinking about this is a tragic story, and yet one that he argues maybe not so tragic, maybe inevitable. Transitions are a way of life. Life goes on. What can you tell us about the end of an era in one combat base?
So this is Chris Hodder. He is one of the Dirty Dozen original 12 black belts out here in the United States. Just a real OG in the jiu-jitsu world, especially if you're from California and you got into jiu-jitsu at any time. I could say maybe if you got into it like post-COVID, maybe you don't know everybody, but Chris is a guy that just about everybody knows him or has heard of him. He had a spot which basically was the garage in his mom's house, which is the ultimate gangster son move. Ma, I'm going to open up a jiu-jitsu club in your garage, okay? Wow. Just mats all that shit out. He's got dudes coming to the house 3 days a week training. And man, he's been doing this since 2005. So 21 years this place has been running jujitsu out of the garage. And according to Chris, his late mother had passed away, and they are selling the property, I believe, is what's happening. And this is right down there in Manhattan Beach, which I think he states in the article that his dad bought that place for like $55,000, which is insane if you know what property value is down that way. And his wife Melissa, they asked her about it. She was quoted as saying that they looked into actually trying to open another spot somewhere, and they just felt like, man, after paying thousands of dollars in a lease payment, and then also, having to collect quite a bit more money from students for tuition and not really being able to know what that's going to look like, it just didn't seem like the next best step for him. He's a terrific instructor. I hope that he lands somewhere and enjoys doing it. He's put a lot into the game. He doesn't need to be all stressed out about paying bills at this point. So what a great dude. What a cool thing. It's unfortunate that it's gone, but man, what a great thing that was. So
yeah, I would just say this, a huge California staple. I never went there, and it is true to form that when you see something like this in the article, they do mention, they're like, hey, if you want to come, you better come soon or else it's going to be closed up forever. And I just thought, like, I think my fate is that I just never went. I don't want to be a person that comes out of the blue that just goes like, hey, I want to get in before we kill this place. Am I right? What a great moment. So it was for me.
Let me take a pic.
Yeah, my thing is, I'm like, dude, I'm a huge advocate for all things Los Angeles, Southern California. So it does hurt and sting a little bit to see that go. He did mention this, though. He's like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to own an academy. I'm just not. But that doesn't mean he's going to stop teaching. So I hope whoever inherits him gives him a good home so that people who did learn there could do that somewhere else. But it is truly a sign of the times where it's like, well, that's your parents' basement or that's your parents' garage. And a lot of people want to evolve from that and say like, well, give me an academy, do this. For him, the thought was, no, I want to stay in the garage. That's where the good stuff was. And anybody who trained in that early 2000s, late 2010s era, they know that garage just from sight. Like they can see it, they can recognize it. You know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And anything that has that kind of distinct personality, it should be commended. And, thanks for teaching all the people that you did. Being one of the Dirty Dozens, already a legend, but what a great moment for them. So congratulations on a great run. Very sad I didn't get the invite. Just putting that out there. So when we ship it off to the Smithsonian in the future, though, we'll make amends for that. But for now, Tim, we move on to our next one. This is interesting. Now, I feel like I read this wrong, but in this story, there is a gentleman who claims that he got his blue belt for $9.99. That to me is incredibly shocking. And yes, this is a notable enough person to comment about it. But it also begged the question, $9.99 is the going rate for blue belts? Like, how much have we devalued that? Tim, what happened in the story? And why was it for sale at $9.99 specifically?
Well, I'll tell you, those are both good points. And when I tell you, it's going to make sense. You know how when the Theraguns came out, they're like, oh, man, it was the coolest thing ever. Nobody had seen them. And people tried to make their own. They're like, you know what I can do is I can go get one of those reciprocating hand. What are those things called? Like whatever, some fucking thing that goes like this, some like a reciprocating hammer or something like that. I
I'm
don't
coming
know.
back on screen now.
And
What is this?
retrofit it.
This is the worst game
Do
of
this.
fucking
then
charades
they would
anybody's
retrofit
ever
it.
played, Tim. You can't just, well, first
then-
it does this, and then it goes Rome, and then it makes a thing like this, and then it just don't go like that.
I got it.
Okay.
They would take the jigsaw, the motorized jigsaw, and they would
There we
take
go.
the blade out. There was little adapters, and they'd fit like lacrosse balls. You'd try to make your own because they were like $600. Well, that's what this guy did with his blue belt. He realized, look, I could actually pay and go to a class and be taught, or I can go to Casey's Martial Arts World and I can buy a blue belt for $9.99, and I can just put it on and say I'm a blue belt. And this is what he did. Now, obviously, this is Ron June. He was an MMA fighter. He's a tough dude. He has the experience to back the belt up for sure. But it is kind of a funny thing that he talked about doing. I think he showed up at Helson Gracie's as a white belt and was like, I'm not doing this, and just decided like, I'm going to go get my blue belt, move on. So more power on you. But this is, and you brought up a really, really good point, because in the belt market, what a big discrepancy you have on one end. Ron June paying $9.99 for a blue belt, and on the other, you have Mr. Moneyberg himself paying $3 million for the blue belt. You tell me who's the Warren Buffett in this exchange, because $3 million is a lot of bread for a black belt.
Well, see, Tim, you could just you'd be an idiot to just pay $9.99 for a blue belt, because you just aren't as smart as Moneyberg. You didn't invest your time or your money or $1 million in New Gordon. It's really a foolish plan. I should say this. This is like the premise of an 80s comedy. Like, this is 100% Robert De Niro and Sean Penn being like, we're on the run. We should be nuns. Let's do it. Or,
yeah,
like, all of a sudden, this is Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari being like, hey, we can't get in. We should be buddies, but with bosoms, and be women to fit into this all-women's residency. Like, this, to me, is 100% like, what if I just wore a blue belt? I really hope by the end of the movie that whoever he was around, because let's call it a movie at this point, that like somebody goes, you were lying to us the whole time? The whole time you were a white belt? I befriended you. I brought you into my gym, man. I invited you to open mat. You betrayed us, dude. And they run out. Like, that's what I want.
Would I be out of line? And just tell me if I am, but is this jujitsu cross-dressing? Like, if you wear a belt that you're not, or if you put a gi on when you really train no gi, because earlier you said, is someone who's cutting weight right now, and I'm like, oh, that gave him the authority, and I thought, damn, he's got me right now on the jujitsu intersectionality chart. But I'm like, what if I'm a jujitsu cross-dresser? What if I go back and forth between gi and no gi? Does that beat a weight cutter? I don't know, man.
That's pretty funny. Well, now you've got me thinking about him trying to see his kids, but he has to go as a blue belt. So it's just him. Hello! Oh, this week I'm not who you think I am. I'm a butler, and I have a blue belt. Of course I'm not some stupid white belt. The whole time?
So
the
good.
whole time?
The whole time.
God damn, dude. Okay. Well, here's some good news. It says, I would have felt like Charlie finding a golden ticket if he had met Moneyberg before everybody else did. Yeah, the problem is you would have had to hang out with him. And I got bad news for you. Money is good, but it's not free money. And that dude looks like he's got the personality of spam. So, no, I'm good. Thank you,
Talking about
though.
Lord Farquaad.
Yeah. And Egg. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Should be no cursing voice messages from me today. I don't know, man. That was you sounding like a very belligerent ex-girlfriend calling. So you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's just when everybody sends me shit, it is fair game to be put on air. So everybody needs to know that.
Yeah.
I did see a like, though, so that is good. Anyway, in case you guys haven't heard, Egg, which I think in the article he was going by his government name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Egg because that's what we were told to do. Never break kayfabe. Egg has been announced as one of the 4 owners of a PGF franchise. Now, what's great about it is he announced that he's going into business with his son. So, are we supposed to make fun of him? And how old is he? Because I don't like making fun of kids. But if he's over 18, I feel like I can do jokes at him. But by and large, very, very happy to have him joining us. And look at this. Keelan just doing some hearts and some laughs. Truly, truly there.
Hearts and love.
Let's do this. We're going to move on to our happiest update, though. A friend of the show, a alum of the PGF itself as well, Renato CANUTO got his 3rd win in the cage yesterday at, I believe it's Tough Enough in Las Vegas. I'm not sure that was the headline, though. I think there might have been some other statements that were made, but the statement that he made in the cage, very impressive. Tim, how did he do it? How did he get the finish last night?
So CANUTO squared off. Look, he goes into this fight. He's 2-0. He's never left the first round. He's a submission specialist who's basically TKO'd both guys that he fought. And he's going up against a vet here, Luciano Ramos. He's got 25 fights under his belt. He's no joke. And to be honest, Luciano Ramos put CANUTO in some danger with an armbar off his back. And it was close. Like CANUTO was in a little bit of trouble there. Now, to CANUTO's credit, he is a very, very good scrambler when it comes to jiu-jitsu and MMA grappling, and he did manage to get out of it. Ramos tried to follow up with a triangle that CANUTO just shucked off, and then once CANUTO shucked that triangle off and started passing, it was in no time he was on mount. And from mount, he was dropping elbows. He was striking Ramos. Eventually, he slid up into high mount. Then he took an S mount, and he finished him with the armbar from S mount. The one, it's basically the one that your coach gets you into when you start training, and he just hits you with it over and over. It's the one where you're on S mount, but you don't even sit back or roll. You just stay on mount. You take the arm, just give a little hip into it, and Ramos tapped immediately. So CANUTO goes to 3-0. Good on him. CANUTO, I really think, is the prototype prospect grappler MMA fighter that the UFC's really looking for with the pipeline that they're trying to build that can take guys from grappling into MMA. I know CANUTO, he has a grappling background, he has a judo background, but he's really kind of run through the jiu-jitsu pipeline into MMA. And I think guys like that are kind of laying the pathway down. I know there's been a lot of guys who've gone from grappling into MMA, but this is kind of that unique pathway where he went through the promotions to get there. So good on him, man. I love watching CANUTO fight, and I love watching him win.
Very accurate statement here being made. Renato is the man, looking scary. Okay. You covered all the important stuff. I'll cover the least important stuff. Well, maybe we're very important to the CANUTOs. So when they asked CANUTO, they're like, hey, what are you feeling? What do you want to do next? He's like, I think it's time to go make babies. Huh? And I thought, okay. Top of mind. Sure. He's been thinking about that a lot. I wondered if it was because I'm hoping that Raquel is great, but after that last UFC BJJ, I was like, maybe she's taking a little time off. Oh, maybe that makes sense because she doesn't ever seem like somebody that's going to stop. So when he made that statement, he's like, let's go make babies. And I go, okay, guys, there's like an inverted pyramid you have to do in post-fight speeches. End with it's baby time. Start with the fight itself. Because you can't go over like time to make babies. They'll be like, cool, can you walk me through that finish? Oh, right. Like you don't end on an upper in that. So I think what we have to do, we're going to create a graphic, if you would, that will help to tell you the order of operations here. That will let you know who, what, where, when, and what to do. For example, one of my favorite things is when I'm interviewing people post-fight interview stuff, and I do this, like, hey, what else do you have to say? And sometimes I've seen their teammates go up and whisper in their ear, thank your sponsors, you idiot. Important note, but that should be toward the end. But yeah, if you can end on an upper, that's usually pretty great. I'm seeing a reminder here. The draft is February 4th. Yes. Somehow Egg is being less Egg, and somehow Keelan is now taking the form of being Egg to plug his stuff. So yes,
I've noticed.
You can see that draft on February 4th as if we have not covered it enough. But yes, you will see us there. You're going to see me reporting there live, and I'm sure we're going to have lots to talk about. But this is important to know. CJ is fair game. He's joke legal. He's 21.
Ooh.
And his dad's saying it's fair game.
Joke legal.
Here's the thing you should know. First of all, let's not call it joke legal. That feels weird. But two, still a child, but one that I feel entirely comfortable making fun of. So I'm so sorry, CJ. You look like you're doing the bulk of the work. You have a boomer of a dad. And I understand the difficulty explaining the technology. I think on one of the episodes, he was yelling at you to do something. Well, multiple. He's doing it multiple times. But he was like, CJ's not here. He's my producer. And I was like, wait, that's a good gig. Who can produce remotely? That's great. You mentioned, I think you were sick. You were off camera. And I was like, the abuse this young child must be taking. I root for you, CJ. But we will be mocking you. Because now you're an owner. What are we supposed to do about that? It is what it is. My hands are tied. So that's just what we have to do at this point. And it says, oh, Egghead is dead. Only David exists now.
Oh, shit.
Well, thank you for that, HAL 3000. That's wonderful. I'm so glad the autonomous AI is telling us how to think and feel at this point. Yeah, I get that. Can I reveal something to you, BMAC? When somebody tells me to call them Batman, for the sake of Gotham City, sure, I do it. If you extrapolate that into jiu-jitsu, what am I supposed to do? Not call Boogie Boogie? You guys did this. This is a dumb brain. You put it up here. This is where it stays. So unfortunately, I may have to stay an Egg, but I am very much a proper individual so that when I first met him, I was like, tell me your real name. And he's like, well, I'm Egghead. I was like, no. Real name. Stop it. And it says, he's also finished 4 years of being a defensive lineman in college. You choose your own adventure. That's great. I still have seniority. Plus, if he beats me up, I can sue a certain franchise now. So you think about your words
I'm about to be
carefully.
part owner of the Colorado Wolverines.
By the way, Tim, if that's the way that we get in as owners, this is the best irony ever. It's just, oops, we didn't do anything except this former lineman bumped into me and put me through a table, which I will know how to go through. And it says, I actually prefer Egghead. Listen, this is a debate you guys have to have on your own. Meanwhile, Tim and I are going to move to our next topic, which, Tim, is the fight of the week. What can you tell us about this week's low light highlight of the week?
I'm going to pull this fight up locally as I kind of prepare you for this. I've been sitting on this one for a minute. This is a banger. You remember Kimbo Slice, Jorge Masvidal, Dada 5000. They came up through by the way, the world needs more Dada 5000. Let's just be real about it, man. Dada was the man. They came up in these like backyard street fight type deals. This looks like maybe the Venezuelan or Guatemalan version of it. It takes place right out front of a fruit street style market. These dudes look like they got off work. They are in their construction clothes, and they could be rival construction company gangs. That it could be where this is going now that I look at it. But they got hands, man. They have a nice little fist fight right out in front of the fruit stand, and it was a gentlemanly fruit stand, and they really showed the heart of the Latin fighters here, and I thought it was appropriate to bring up early this year on the show.
All right. Well, it does trouble me whenever you start telling me things like, hey, Raf, I've been waiting for this one. So slightly nervous as we look at this Dagestani Mikey Musumeci as it is currently blocking the fight of the week. But I am very excited to hear you tell me a little bit about it. So Tim, in 3, 2, 1, take it away, sir. This is this week's fight of the... Oh, no, wait, that's Craig. That is the fight of the week. Here we go.
All right, here we go. This is looks like Oscar De La Pollo versus Julio Cesar Chorizo or something, man. These guys are fighting over the last package of puparindo at the street market here. And they're throwing blows though, man. And I like that the crowd they're watching, but nobody's moving. Like nobody's took a step. The one guy's literally carrying a gigantic barbecue in the background, if you didn't see that. And these guys are banging, man. This is Tecate versus Tacos. It's a great fight. They're swinging a little wild. And then the guys are like, okay, too much, man. Take a break. I don't know what they were fighting over. I don't, but I do appreciate that they were not afraid to bang, man. They just wanted to bang.
So a lot of you guys wonder, with Max Holloway, him pointing at the center of the octagon, this is the Mexican version of that. So let's walk you through it. Very quickly, first off, starting a fight right where the fruit is tells you exactly what you need to know and where we are. It's literally part of the thing Pixar would look at and be like, oh, I know these people. We've got Coco already ready. We're all set. Let's plug that into the CGI filter here. Now, Tim, you mentioned something, but these aren't just viewers. They're like NPCs in a freaking video game. Just literally like, we are not made to do anything. Just stand here and do nothing. But this is my favorite. This exchange in particular, because it's literally agreeing to, listen, I'm going to hit you as hard as I can. You hit me as hard as you can. And I'm just going to oof. Like, watch. Oof. Great. Love it. Meanwhile, this dude who is punching so hard from here on out, he now has a crop top.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if you've ever punched so hard you've made a crop top out of your shirt, but this man has figured out the secret. But I want to point to the dude on the bike who looks like he's just enjoying this, perhaps a little bit too much. But yes, in the background, you could tell the people who actually have to work, because homeboy stops.
Look at that guy, dude. He's carrying it.
Stops what he is carrying with all those little baskets. Pauses. But this is a true reflection of this man being an educated fight fan. Because he goes, is this all you're going to do? Is that it? All right, I've seen enough. I got to get back to work. I'm on my tight 10 here.
I got 11 more miles.
People, listen, this is truly Mexicans if I've ever seen them. Look at them get so disgruntled at the free fight in front of them that they turn away from it. Watch. He goes back to work. Dude in the van drives away. And the two people near the edge of that go, I got better stuff to do, man. All right, we got stuff to do. This is fine. This is where I enjoy it the most. Because after they've let them have it out for a minute, the big man who can't eat his ice cream from Lilo and Stitch comes in to break it all up. So essentially, that is this week's low light highlight of the week. And thank you very much for the kind words here. Tim, Street Beefs needs you to commentate as per Keelan. And on this, it says Fight of the Week is my favorite segment. Honestly, usually ours as well, depending on what randomness Tim does find for us. And God bless him for doing the hard work here, because these segments always, they surprise me. Let's say that much. But Tim, as we start to round the bases here, I'll just tell you this. We have already addressed all the comments that we needed to really make do. But for you, sir, I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and plug, promote, tell the people where they can find you. And I guess, what can they expect from us once this whole PGF thing starts kicking off?
So, yeah, man, when PGF kicks off, you can expect coverage every week from the Bullpen. We will be blasting a pre-show out onto the entire planet that you need to see. This is not the pre-show that your dad watched. This is the pre-show that comes from two very demented minds, so you need to check it out. On top of that, if you want to come see me, I'm out in Nashville. Come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. Don't do it this weekend because we're having snowpocalypse. If you're out in California, go see my homies in the hood at 10th Planet Stockton. You could find me online at Inside BJJ, all your favorite social media platforms, most of them. Raf, it was a pleasure today, man. Love doing the show with you. Great stuff as always. I'm really excited for the jiu-jitsu world to pick back up, man, because we're slumming on some of this troll bait right now. And don't get me wrong, it's fun, but I would like to see where the jiu-jitsu scene goes in 2026.
I like that you're like, hey, this is not good enough, jiu-jitsu world. I need some real news to talk about, not just people not making weight, okay? I need real... Oh, are you kidding me? You know what? Listen. We're going to start charging here because now you're a franchise owner.
Yeah.
Do you see
right.
this? You can pony up to us. That's fine. It's going to cost you a firm 25 cents here, sir. Take that. Look, it goes away until I see that 25 cents. Done. Tim, I'm very excited about the stuff. Before we get you on out of here, yes, folks, you are going to see more from us pre and post show stuff as per usual with all the good stuff for the PGF. Very excited about those endeavors. And we have some new things that we are going to kick out, like today, getting to see the little board with us doing the fight of the week. Tim and I have a new format for that. And in the near future, we might be able to do a stream a couple different ways. We're experimenting with some new stuff. So just be very, very on the lookout for stuff, and do us a solid. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all of our stuff, because it's not just me. I say it at the end, but Tim's here too. So like for Tim as well as me. And that's the stuff that we will remind you of. Tim, I'll let you get on out of here. I'll close this off. I will talk to you a little bit later, sir. Thank you very much for your time today, man. All right,
Peace.
Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the show. We thank you so much for joining with us. I already mentioned it, but if you didn't do it, it feels like you're robbing us. A like, a comment, a subscribe, wherever you're watching. If you're watching an Inside BJJ, like and subscribe there. If you're watching me on Grappling Hour, like and subscribe there. If you're watching this on PGF World, thank you. We love you guys too. I would say like and subscribe there, but you probably already have. I would rather you come to our pages as well, because, you know, do the thing. And it says, hell yeah. Wait, hold on. You got your son to do your dirty work now? Hold on. That just went up a whole 75 cents. We're at $1 now. You can't have, wait, this, you can tell it runs in the family. Look at this. Sounds really cool. I don't know where this child had a chance. I don't know. I was hoping better for you, CJ. I bet his producer is a great guy. Listen, put it this way. His producer has his work cut out for him. But guess what? I also judge the producers the hardest. So keep that in mind. Talent. On-air talent. Dime a dozen. You can get those anywhere. Anyway, good luck with that. I don't know who they have as a guest, but they have somebody. There'll be a show. Maybe Abe will be there. Abe's their stats guy. he is taking over the responsibilities because, as we all know, Egg had to resign with disgrace because he got all the numbers wrong toward the end of the season. So it's an unfortunate situation, but as we've learned from our government, you can fail upwards, because somehow he went from resigning in disgrace to owning a team. It's weird. Is what it is, though. America, am I right? Anyway, yeah, check us out. Patreon.com/grappling hour. Check me out there. You can see my interviews 30 days before everybody else. We have some new interviews coming up. Literally, Jaden, who just won the Philly Phenoms qualifier, he just did an interview with us. We also have Travis Haven up there. We've got a lot of people coming up who are PGF friendly. We have a whole section on our Patreon where you can just find the PGF interviews if that's what floats your boat. But I do more than that. We just finished an interview with Anime Domo, and we have Maya Matalon. Like, right now, honestly, one of our best seasons. I kid you not. I'm super, super excited about this. It's a sword fantasy loser? What is that? Sword fantasy lover? I don't know what that means. You should really keep your fan fiction to yourself, sir. Just making you let know. Just, you know. And Marines can't do math. You said it. I didn't. Not touching that one. Let those gentlemen go after you. Remember, there's jokes about your dad. Then there's jokes about Marines. Don't know you're going to win the crowd off that one. It is amazing to see like a younger version of Egg, because it's a more like slang version of what he does. Shout out Colorado Wolverines. All right, that's enough. Ladies and gents, do those things. Check me out, rafesparza.com/merch. Get you a Grappling Hour hoodie, a t-shirt, a tank top. If you are wearing a tank top that says Grappling Hour on it, we'll look the other way for steroids. Just saying. That's our 2026 rule. But if you wear somebody else's tank top, 100% calling USADA on you. That's our rule. I'm going to say it all year long because that's how I feel. So you can check that out, rafesparza.com/merch. My friends, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. That's going to do it for us. As usual, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.